and welcome to another monthly TBR video. These are some of my absolute favourite videos to film, and this month is going to be a little bit different to all the previous months that I've done because this month I'm going to get my Instagram followers to blindly choose the books on my TBR. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just think this is going to be so fun. And I'm not going to lie, May for me, I was in the biggest reading slump. It felt like the entire month I was basically in a reading slump. So my May TBR, I don't want to talk about it. It kind of went out the window and I'm so sad about it, but it's okay. I feel like we all have months like that and it just means that we still get to read those books. It's fine. And they're still on my TBR, which is exciting because they could be chosen this month. And I'm excited to pick a new TBR and just to have a bit of a fresh start for June because I don't know what happened in May. I don't know. So the way that I'm going to do this, every TBR video so far I've picked 8 books and we're still going to do that. I feel like that's a good amount to have because it gives me options. And for me, I feel like having enough options is the key to having a good TBR and one that I'm most likely going to get through in the month. So I've come up with 8 different sort of categories that I'm going to choose 2 books from that fit in those categories, and then I'm going to put it on my Instagram story and let you guys choose, and I'm going to give it the full 24 hours on my Instagram stories, and we will come back tomorrow and reveal which one won each category. The categories that we've got, we have romance, we have thriller, we have fantasy, and then we have sports romance, because I'm very aware that on my TBR I have a good mix of just normal romance and then also sports romance. And then we have an arc read. So this is a book that has kindly been sent to me by a publisher or by an author, and there are some that are either out or coming out in June that I would really like to get to because I feel so grateful that they've been sent to me and I'm just so excited about them and I'd really like to read them. So I thought it'd be fun to put an arc on there as well. Then we have a popular book talk book, one book continuing a series that I'm in, and then one book that I've been putting off. So there are our categories and I felt like it would be fun for us to choose the books together. I'm going to show you some options and then we're going to choose our 2, and I'll show you the little emojis that I'm going to use for each one, because basically what I'm going to do is cover the book cover up and then put 2 or 3 emojis correlating to that book. I don't want to make it really obvious, but I want to give enough so that you could work it out if you kind of knew that book. I don't want to make them all so that you can guess. So our first category is romance. It's romance. I need to move my bear out the way. He can sit here. So for romance, let's see what we've got. So I'm going to sort of take out the sports romance just for this category because I'm aware that we have sports romance coming up. So any romance that's not a sports romance, I'm going to include. Okay, so we have quite a few options for this one. I found 4. I'm just going to run through them really quickly and then we'll choose the 2 that we're going to put on. We have Hate Mail by Donna Marchetti. This I literally saw at the works and I was like, that looks really cute and fun and feels like it would be a nice sort of palette cleanser sort of book. Then we have The Catch by Amy Lee. This is actually the 3rd one in the Influencer series. I've not read the other 2. I don't know, I need to double check that you can actually read them as standalones. I feel like it might be an interconnected standalone series. That's the vibe I get anyway. But this is a small town romance fake dating trope in here as well. And then we have 7 Summers by Paige Toon, which I have been so excited to read. So excited. I've been wanting to save this for when the weather gets a bit warmer, and hopefully in June it's going to. So we could choose this one. And then we have Love in the Time of Serial Killers by, I don't know if that's Alicia or Alicia. I'm going to go with Alicia Thompson, but I don't know whether that's right. This one really intrigues me because it's kind of giving criminal romance. Like, she's obsessed with true crime, he's acting suspicious, I think. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm intrigued by this one. Oh, I've just realised we have another one as well. We have The Ex Next Door by Joe Platt, which I have been wanting to get to this one because I just think it's going to be such a cute little diddy read. And just the whole concept of that is just funny to me. I don't know why. And this is Second Chance Romance vibe. Out of these, I feel like I want to put Love in the Time of Serial Killers on there because I feel like I've been wanting to read this for a while. I think I got this for my birthday back in February, so it has been on my TBR for a while now and it always catches my eye when it's in my little pile. So I feel like we're going to put this one on, and then with that, I feel like one of these 2. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's a bit of a rainy day today that I'm like, the other 2 just kind of give me more summer vibes. So I'm going to put them back for now, and I think we're going to choose one of these 2. I feel like I should go The Ex Next Door because it's been on there longer. That's my thinking. So there are 2 for our romance category. Category number 2 is thriller, my favourite my favourite. So we know I love Freedom McFadden's books. I love them. I'm definitely going to put one of hers as one of the options. Then I didn't want to do both of them at Freedom McFadden, so we have a couple options for the other one. First up, we have The Perfect Wife by JP Delaney. I've heard really good things about JP Delaney's books in general, but I've actually never read one by this author. So we have The Perfect Wife, that's the first one. And then we have Good Have Gone by Taryn Fisher, which I've heard so many good things about recently. This is a newer release and this whole vibe just intrigues me. And then for our Freedom McFadden options, we have The Co-worker and The Inmate, both of which I'm so excited for. So I feel like for Freedom McFadden, I think I'm gonna go for The Co-worker. I don't know why, I kind of want to save this one, but I don't know what for. I just want to make sure that I'm definitely in the mood for this one because this is one of my most anticipated reads. So I feel like for now we're going to go with The Co-worker by Freedom McFadden as our first thriller option, and then out of these two I'm feeling more Good Have Gone just because this really intrigues me and I keep seeing it everywhere and I really want to know what it's about. So that's our thriller option. Next up we have fantasy. I have a couple options. We have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I don't know why this book intimidates me, but it does. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. First of all, the writing is teeny tiny, but I have really been wanting to read this, so this is definitely an option. And then I very kindly recently got sent this one, which is By the Orchid and the Owl, and it's by Mariah Montoya, and this just intrigues me. This just looks so exciting, and this is definitely giving magical fantasy vibes, so we definitely have this one as an option as well. And then A Curse for True Love, which is the third one in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber, is coming out in late June. I think it's June 20th, something like that. I know it's already out in hardback, but the paperback version is coming out. And I cannot even tell you how excited I am to read that book. Ever since I finished the second one, I've just been so anticipating the third one. I'm so excited for it, and I feel like that definitely has to be an option because I will be buying that in June, even though I don't have the physical book right now with me. But I feel like that is definitely going to be an option because I really want to read it. I really want to read it, and I hope that you guys will pick it as an option. That's going to be our first option, and then our second one is going to be out of these two. I really don't know. I feel like maybe I should go for Dance of Thieves just because it's been on my TBR the longest, and I feel like I should give it a go. Give it a go if it gets picked. I'm kind of hoping that Curse for True Love is going to get picked though because I can't explain my excitement for that book. So for our fantasy options, we have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson and A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. Next category is sports romance. I have so many good options for this one, so I'm really excited. First up we have First Base by Ali Wygand. He's a baseball player. She's a photography for his team. I just feel like that whole dynamic really intrigues me. And this one has fake dating in as well, which we love. And then we have Collide, which first of all, I'm obsessed with these sprayed edges. And second of all, this is a hockey romance, which I love. They're one of my favourites. I don't know what it is about them. I just adore. And she is also a sports psychologist, and I love anything to do with psychology. And when it's in books, I just get really excited because I'm like, so we have that one. And then we also have Mile High by Liz Tomford, which I feel like I talk about in every single TBR video and I just haven't got around to it yet. It's just so chunky. It's so chunky and it puts me off. It puts me off reaching for it. I don't know why, because I'm sure once I got into it I'd literally fly through it and it wouldn't feel like the 500-page book that it is. No, 580. That's a 600-page book. And I'm like, for a romance, how much can we possibly be saying? I don't know. And I feel like because this one has so much hype, it obviously has hype for a reason, but because it has so much, it intimidates me going into it because I just feel like my expectations are automatically higher. But I know that quite a few of you over on TikTok have been wanting me to read this, so I feel like we probably have to put this one on. At least give it a chance of being chosen. This one, again, is another hockey romance, and she's a flight attendant, so we have this one. I feel like I'm gonna put the other hockey romance with this. That just seems to make the most sense to me. And I feel like it might confuse you as well because they'll both be hockey emojis, which could make things exciting, which could, you know, spice things up a bit. So we're gonna go for Mile High and Collide. Okay, we're halfway through our options. Next up we have an ARC read, which So exciting. I'm gonna whiz through some of the arcs that I have that are on my radar right now. So we have two that have already been mentioned, which are By the Orchid and the Owl and First Base. These are both arc reads. And then we have Hits Different by Tasha Guri and Lizzie Hexley Jones. And this one is actually coming out in June, so I feel like it would be a good time to read this. This is just a cute little summer romance book, but I feel like it has a lot more to it, and I feel like it's focused more on self-love as well, which we love. And then I also have Falling Hard for the Royal Guard by Megan Clawson, which is a cute little romance set in the Tower of London, which is so exciting and unlike anything that I've read. And I think this author actually lived in the Tower of London for a little bit because her dad worked there, which is so interesting and just really intrigues me. So we have this as an option as well. I think with the mood I'm in right now, we should definitely put It's Different on there because it's coming out this month and it would just be perfect timing. And I think I'm most intrigued by the Orchid and the Owl right now. And I feel like that would be interesting to sort of put these against each other because this one's going to be kind of summery romance emojis and then this one will be more fantasy vibes. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with these two. So that's our arc read options. Next we have a popular BookTok book. Okay, I found a few options. We first have The List, which is one of my new ones on my TBR, and I know that when this first came out in hardback this was really popular on BookTok. The whole concept of this just really intrigues me. It's basically about a married couple and there's this list that's published that is basically a list of abusive men, and the woman in this couple sees that her fiance is on that list, which I'm so like, what would you even do? What would you even do? And I'm intrigued to find out what actually happens when she finds out and how she's going to deal with that whole situation. Then we have The Maidens, which I read The Silent Patient by the same author and absolutely loved it. It was one of the books that first got me into reading and I've been really looking forward to reading this, but I just haven't got around to it yet. So we do have this one as well. And then we have The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, which I love Lucy Foley's books. I think she writes really good mystery thrillers and I really like how she sets up her books as well. And I feel like this is probably her most popular one and it's one of the only ones of hers that I haven't read. So we have that one as well. And then I don't know if this is kind of cheating the system a little bit, but I've got All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the third one in the Natural series. And the Natural series as a whole I feel like is really, really popular on BookTok. And I've been really wanting to read this one. So I feel like, am I allowed to put that in? I feel like I am. I feel like I am and I feel like I'm going to. I'm going to put this one in and then I'm also going to put it against Paris Apartment. So there are options for popular BookTok books. Okay, next we have a book that I've been putting off, which I'm not looking forward to this category. It means I have to go to my big pile of books that I have been putting off for nearly a year now. Okay, I feel like that was actually easier than I thought it would be, just because I know the ones that I've been putting off and I just chose the ones that I prefer to read right now out of the ones that I've been putting off. So we have After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which still have the stickers on, which we don't need to talk about. We don't need to talk about it. I've heard really good things about this one and I think I've only read one other Taylor Jenkins Reid book and that was Seven Husbands by Evelyn Hugo, and I've heard that her other books are also really good, so I'm intrigued by this and it's been on my TBR for a while. I've been wanting to know what it's all about because I feel like it's kind of an emotional roller coaster of a book. Could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. So that's our first option. And then we also have a TikTok by Simon Mayo, which I feel is more of a sciencey medical thriller vibe. That's what it's giving me. It kind of reminds me of the film In Time, if anybody's seen that. But I don't know why it gives me that vibe. Probably just because it's the clock, because the actual back sounds nothing like that film. But these are our two options for a book that I've been putting off for a while. And then we have the next one in a book series that I'm currently reading. And I think I only have two options for this, unless we start a new series. The ones that I'm actually in the middle of, I think there's only two left to choose from. And those options are Tales from the Cafe, which is the second one to Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which I read, I think like a year ago. Honestly, and I've been wanting to read this one ever since. I just think this is such a nice, different, cute little read, and I just love how there's sort of 4 individual stories but they all just link together. I really like it. It's a really cute series. So we have this one, which is the second one in this series, and then we have Powerless by Elsie Silver, which is the third one in the Chestnut Spring series. And if you've seen any of my other videos where I talk about this series, you'll probably know by now how much I cannot wait to read this one because of Jasper. There's just something about Jasper where I feel like I'm gonna absolutely love it. I feel like I'm gonna love it. It's my most anticipated read in the Chestnut Springs series. Every time Jasper's mentioned in the other books, I'm like, I need your book, I need to read it, I need to read it now. So we have Powerless as well. So there's our two options for a series that I'm continuing. And there we have our options for each category. I'm gonna go and put them on my Instagram story now, put the little emojis on and everything, and I will come back and update you tomorrow, and we'll go through them together and we will reveal our winners for each category and our overall June TBR. So I'll see you tomorrow, which will be 2 seconds for you, but a whole day for me. Hello. Good morning, it's the next day and we have the results in. It's been 24 hours now since I put the Instagram stories up and the voting's done, and it's been so interesting to see what you guys have voted for. I know you obviously don't know what the books are, but some of them I know that you have an idea of what they might be just from the emojis that I used and from knowing what's on my TBR from my previous videos and stuff. So it's been really exciting to see what you guys have chosen, and I just want to say quickly thank you so much to everybody that voted over on my Instagram. You have no idea how much I appreciate you guys over there, and it honestly just feels like we're all little book besties over there. So I just want to say thank you for voting. Let's go through the results. So first up was the romance category, and we had The Ex Next Door, and for this one I did a broken heart and a door emoji. And then we had Love in the Time of Serial Killers, which I did a knife and just a pink heart for this one. And our winner with 72% is Love in the Time of Serial Killers. So that's our first book on our June TBR. Next up we had a thriller, and we had The Co-Worker by Frida McFadden, and this one I did a little building and then I did the red heel on the book cover as well. And I know that some of you guys guessed this one because you messaged me. And then we also had Good Half Gone, which I did a little hospital because it says in here that she goes to a hospital for the criminally insane. And then I also did a little magnifying glass emoji because she's trying to find out what happened to her sister. So I thought that fit. And this actually surprised me because Good Half Gone was winning for the majority of the time, and then just at the last minute The Co-Worker won with 54% of the votes. And then we had the fantasy category, and our first one for this was Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, and the emojis I used for this one were the little ballet shoes and the dagger sword. And then the other one we had on the other side was A Curse for True Love, and for that I did a little apple and a key. And I'm so happy because A Curse for True Love won by 56% of the votes, and I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that. I don't know if you guys knew and that's why you chose it because you knew that I wanted to read the third one in the series, or whether you just liked the emojis. I don't know. But I'm really happy about that one because I cannot wait to read it. I cannot wait. And then we had a sports romance, and we had Mile High. This one I did a little city emoji, and then I also did the hockey stick. I was gonna do a plane, but I just thought that was way too obvious and I didn't want to make it super obvious. And then the other one was Collide, and for this one I had books because she's a sports psychologist, and then I also did the hockey stick again because he plays hockey. So you guys would have known that this would have been a sports hockey romance of some sort, and I so thought Mile High was gonna win. I just really thought that would win. I don't know why. Collide actually won with 58% of the votes. Next we had our ARC read. So we had By the Orchid and the Owl, and for this one I did a little castle emoji and then I did an owl. And then we had Hits Different, which I did a beach and some ballet shoes because our main girl in this is a dancer. And Hits Different won by 59%. Then we had Popular Book Top Book, and we had All In, which is the third one in the Natural series. And for this one I did a little detective emoji and the puzzle piece. I didn't know whether that was too obvious because of the puzzle pieces, because these puzzle pieces are on every single book, but I didn't actually get any messages about this one about what it was, so I don't know. And then we also had The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and for this one I did a key and a drop of blood. And our winner for the popular book category was All In, which I'm so happy about because I really want to carry on with this series, and I feel like it's been about a month since I read the second one, so I'm so ready to get back into this world and back with these characters. And this one by 53%. And then we had a book I've been putting off for a while, and we had TikTok, which I did a watch emoji and a needle emoji because this is a medical type thriller. And then on the other side we had After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I did a ring and a heart that was bandaged up. And the book that won this category with 68% was After I Do, which I am actually really excited about. And I'd really like to read more of her books, and I really liked Seven Husbands, so I'm excited for this one. I feel like it's time. I feel like it's time we read it. And then our last category was the next one in a series that I'm currently reading, and we had Powerless by Elsie Silver, which I used the little flower emoji because it has a little rose here, and I also used the hockey stick. I was going to use the ice skate, but I didn't want to make it really obvious, and I kind of thought maybe with the flower and the ice hockey stick you could work it out. I didn't want to make it super obvious. And then on the other side we had Tales from the Cafe, and for this one I did a little chair and a coffee cup. And when I tell you, I was so surprised. I was so surprised because Tales from the Cafe won by 60%, which I don't know why that surprised me so much. I kind of thought more people would guess what this was and vote for this one, but that means that Tales from the Cafe is going on our TBR. So they're the results. I am going to run through really quickly of what we've got, just to remind you, because I know it can be confusing because I'm talking about double the amount of books that are actually on my TBR. So first up we have Love in the Time of Serial Killers, and then we have The Co-Worker, we have A Curse for True Love, which I will be getting later in the month, Collide, Hits Different, All In, After I Do, and last but not least, Tales from the Cafe. And that is our monthly TBR. I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful. Every single one of these books right now I feel like reading, so I feel like that's a good sign. And I'm really excited to get through some of these. I'm really excited. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much again to everybody over on my Instagram that voted. I really appreciate it. And yesterday I feel like we had such a good time chatting about what books might be what, and it just felt like a little fun thing to do together. And I will definitely be doing Instagram followers choose other things, whether it's reading vlogs or whether it's another TBR. So I'll leave a link to my Instagram down below in case you want to join in next time. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will hopefully see you on my next one.